Unresolved Problem segment tonight, more anti-free speech stuff on college campuses. At Claremont McKenna College, outside of Los Angeles, a group called Shut Down Anti-Black Fascist Heather McDonald organized a protest to deny Ms. McDonald a chance to speak on campus. Black Lives Matter was also involved. Heather McDonald is the author of a book called The War on Cops, which states cold, hard facts about crime in America. But again, the protesters did not want to hear what she had to say. She joins us now. So you did give your speech to pretty much an empty room, right?
Right.
Because these protesters were physically blocking students from getting in to see you. Is that correct?
Right. And they stood outside the windows. It was very big plate glass windows, banging on the windows during my talk. So there were a few people, like police officers inside. They were not watching me. They were riveted by what was happening outside. So I had to talk over constant chants about Black Lives Matter and H. McDonald racism and the pounding.
So there was no crowd control on the campus of Claremont McKenna. They couldn't push them back at a decent place so you could give your talk and people could listen to it.
Well, it was feckless crowd control. They had police officers there, but apparently when students demanded to just go through the police presence, they took over. And I think this is a reflection.
The police didn't stop them. Now, were they campus police or were they town police?
A combination of campus and town police.
So the police basically stepped aside and let these people come through so you couldn't speak. What was going through your mind when you witnessed that?
Well, I didn't witness anything. I was initially shuttled into what's in effect a safe house, which did not give me a view of the venue, but I saw students gathering, and what I heard was chanting reaching an almost hysterical level. And I have to confess, without wanting to sound hyperbolic or melodramatic, I got a little clue of what it would feel like to be in the French Revolution waiting for the mob to bring you to the guillotine, because you hear a level of hysteria and you don't know what's going to happen next.
Sure, absolutely. Anybody could do anything. What kind of a school is Claremont McKenna? I don't know much about it. Is it a far left place?
Not traditionally. It has been one of the most conservative schools, certainly in California. Really? It's got a whole school of political theory dedicated to studying the founders and the works of philosopher Leo Strauss. But there is not a single college campus today that has not been pushed left by the introduction of faculty, younger faculty that come out of the victimology, identity politics world. And
so there were faculty members joining with student demonstrators here as well.
Well, I know that there was an administrator from a nearby college, Pomona, who said that her heart was with Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm. Now, the message that you wanted to get across to these students, if you could just encapsulate it, was what?
That the Black Lives Matter narrative is completely false. We are not living through an epidemic of racially biased police shootings. Most importantly, that there are thousands of law-abiding minority residents of high-crime areas who support the police fervently and are desperate for more police protection.
And this you know by your research, right? From the Manhattan Institute, you've researched this. You know that those folks want the police in there to protect them.
I know from personal experience. I go constantly to inner city areas, attend police community meetings, and I hear things like, "Please, Jesus, send more police." Okay,
so these protesters and the college administrators that allowed this to happen, that message that you know, a counterpoint of view that the police in America are not bigoted in a general sense. They don't want to hear that or debate it or present altered facts that they may have. They don't want any of that.
They call me a white supremacist and a fascist.
A white supremacist?
A white supremacist.
And that's based on what? There are black police officers everywhere.
And for saying that there's no government agency more dedicated to the proposition that Black Lives Matter than the police.
So you said the French Revolution. This reminded me of Munich in the late 1920s, early 1930s. Where if you went up against the Nazi orthodoxy just starting to rise, they beat you up. You couldn't speak. Is there any difference?
The irony here is these people go under the moniker of anti-fascists. Can you imagine if conservatives tried to shut down Elizabeth Warren from speaking? The fascist term would be thrown around promiscuously, followed immediately by misogynist. Instead, this sort of thing gets no attention from the New York Times. But this is the very definition of fascist behavior. Not only are they shutting me up, I can deal with that, but they are not allowing their fellow students to hear a range of view through the sheer exercise of brute force.
Very embarrassing for Claremont McKenna, no question about it, and we're glad you're safe. Thanks, Ms. McDonald.
Thank you.
We're going to check out her book, all right, The War on Cops.